A crew quoted me $280 to clean my driveway. The guy walked it slowly, crouched down at every dark patch, and talked about my concrete the way a mechanic talks to you right before the number on the invoice doubles. He wasn't lying exactly. The driveway did look rough, but the way he described it, like it needed special equipment and a trained hand, planted an idea in my head that turned out to be completely backwards. And once a retired guy down the street explained what was really going on, I couldn't unsee it.
Here's the thing that quote quietly depended on. When your driveway looks dirty, your brain assumes there's a layer of grime sitting on top of it, and that cleaning means blasting that layer off. That mental picture is why pressure washing feels so satisfying. It's loud, it's instant. You can watch the clean stripe appear. But that picture is only half true, and the missing half is where all the money hides. A lot of what makes concrete look aged isn't sitting on the surface at all. Concrete looks like solid stone, but it behaves more like a hard sponge, threaded with tiny pores. Organic staining, mildew, algae, the gray film of years of pollen and leaf tannins works its way down into those channels and settles below where any machine can reach. So you blast the surface, it looks better for a season, and then the discoloration seems to come back. It didn't come back. It was never gone. It was just deeper than the water went.
That's the part that reframes everything, because it explains why the fix isn't about force, it's about chemistry. The stuff that actually lifts that buried organic staining is a compound called sodium percarbonate, which sounds like something from a lab, but you've almost certainly walked past it 100 times. It's the oxygen bleach powder in the laundry aisle. When it hits warm water, it breaks down into washing soda and hydrogen peroxide, and that peroxide releases active oxygen that travels down into the pores and goes after the bonds holding organic stains in place. It doesn't scrape. It loosens the grip from underneath, so the discoloration floats up and out instead of getting shoved around on top. And I want to be honest with you here, because this is exactly where a lot of these videos start lying to you. This works beautifully on organic staining, and it does almost nothing for a set-in motor oil stain. Oil is petroleum. It needs a degreaser. Full stop. Anyone telling you one magic powder erases every mark on your slab is selling you the same overpromise as the crew with the clipboard, just cheaper. Now here's where it gets interesting, and where I think most people go wrong without ever realizing it. The people who try oxygen bleach and walk away unimpressed almost always sabotaged it without knowing, and the reasons are so boring that nobody puts them in the flashy videos. The first is temperature. In cold water, that powder barely wakes up. Most of its cleaning power stays locked in the granules, and you end up scrubbing a half-asleep solution across your driveway and concluding the whole thing is a myth. Warm water is what sets the reaction loose. The second is the state of the slab itself. Bone-dry concrete is thirsty. It yanks the solution into the driest patches before the oxygen can spread evenly, which is exactly why people get that blotchy, streaky look and assume they did something wrong. And the third is patience, which is the hardest one, because active oxygen is the complete opposite of the pressure washer experience. Nothing looks like it's happening on the surface while everything is happening beneath it. People walk away, glance back after 2 minutes, see no drama, and quit right before the part where it actually works.
And this is the deeper thing I keep coming back to, the part that's less about driveways and more about how we get talked into things. The crew's quote wasn't really priced on the cleaning. Cleaning a slab is cheap. It was priced on my not knowing, on me looking at those dark patches and feeling helpless in front of them. That feeling is the product. It's the same reason a bottle labeled oxygenated concrete cleaner runs $25 while the identical powder sits 3 aisles over for a few bucks. Nothing in the expensive bottle is doing anything the cheap bag can't. You're not paying for better chemistry. You're paying for the confidence of a label that tells you it's the real professional stuff. Once you see that, you start noticing it everywhere. The markup isn't on the substance, it's on your uncertainty. Now, before we continue, if you're tired of wasting money on driveway cleaners that don't work, I wrote a 44-page guide called the Concrete Rescue Playbook. It covers stain removal, concrete restoration, and simple ways to clean old driveways without causing damage. And it's discounted by 80% this month, so you can get it for just $17.99 through the link below. All right, let's keep going. Now let me be genuinely fair, because I don't want you walking away thinking these services are a scam. They're not. There's real value in convenience. Some people don't want to learn any of this, don't want to wait around on a Saturday, and would happily pay someone to make the problem disappear. And that's a completely reasonable trade. Professionals also handle things a bag of powder won't touch: the oil stains, the rust, the jobs where a properly used pressure washer at the right pressure is actually the correct tool, not the destructive one. The mistake isn't hiring someone. The mistake is thinking you have to because you've been quietly convinced the cleaning power itself is something rare and expensive. It isn't. It's a few dollars of oxygen bleach doing the same chemistry the pros are doing, whether it's in a branded jug or a laundry box.
And this is the deeper thing I keep coming back to, the part that's less about driveways and more about how we get talked into things. The crew's quote wasn't really priced on the cleaning. Cleaning a slab is cheap. It was priced on my not knowing, on me looking at those dark patches and feeling helpless in front of them. That feeling is the product. It's the same reason a bottle labeled oxygenated concrete cleaner runs $25 while the identical powder sits 3 aisles over for a few bucks. Nothing in the expensive bottle is doing anything the cheap bag can't. You're not paying for better chemistry. You're paying for the confidence of a label that tells you it's the real professional stuff. Once you see that, you start noticing it everywhere. The markup isn't on the substance, it's on your uncertainty.
There's a moment from that afternoon I keep thinking about. As the oxygen did its slow work, the water running off the slab started to change. It went cloudy, then gray, then genuinely brown. And I stood there realizing that brown water was years of my driveway's supposed age simply leaving. That wasn't dirt I'd tracked in last month. That was a decade of pollen and mildew and gray film that had settled down deep and quietly convinced me the concrete itself was old. It wasn't old. It was full, and watching it empty out into the gutter did something to how I saw the whole thing. Because for the first time, I could actually see the part I'd been missing my whole life. Every pressure washer I'd ever run made a bright stripe on the surface, and let me believe that was the job. But I'd never once seen the buried staining leave. It just came back every season, and I blamed the concrete. Standing over that brown runoff, it finally clicked that I hadn't been fighting a worn-out slab at all. I'd been fighting my own bad picture of what was actually down there, and losing to it for years. So the job somebody wanted the better part of $300 for cost me a few bucks and a patient afternoon. Not because I found a forbidden trick, but because I stopped believing the dirt was something it wasn't. If this saved you money, subscribe for more and check out my ebook linked in my bio.